Good morning and welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Monday, the 10th day of Adar Aleph, the first Adar. And today's class is sponsored by Fishbaum in memory of his father, Mordechai Arye ben Rabbi Avraham. May this class be La'ilui Nishmasai, the Neshama Shel Eben Aliyah. And thank you for sponsoring. And let's begin with Tzedakah. Gedoyle Tzedakah shemekareves es hageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So we continue today in chapter 29, where the Alter Rebbe discusses the problem of numbness, emotional numbness, spiritual numbness, meaning that you just don't feel it. You understand everything, you study, and you do everything right, but you just don't feel it in the heart. You feel numb, you don't feel the excitement. And as we explained yesterday, this is necessary for every mitzvah to feel, to connect, and especially when it comes to prayer, the whole idea of prayer is to have that feeling of connection and love with Hashem. And sometimes we just don't have it. So the Alter Rebbe says, he quoted the Zohar, which said that when you have a piece of wood, a log, that doesn't catch fire, what do you do? How do you make it catch fire? So the Zohar says you have to splinter the log into small pieces. Of course, there's many different ways of having it catch fire. You can add oil, you can bring a bigger fire. But if you really want the log to catch fire, the best way is to splinter it into small pieces, which means to break it down. Zohar uses this as a metaphor that when there is the spirit, the evil spirit within us, that needs to be broken down. Now, what does that mean? So the Alter Rebbe says that from time to time, and especially in the right times, we need to find ways to talk to ourselves and to ask ourselves, who are we really? What drives me? So that is the question here. Who are we? Am I a godly soul that is in a body? Or am I what I care for, what represents me is the animal soul? So the truth of the matter is that deep inside, every Jew has a godly soul, as a nefesh elokis, and when push comes to shove, that godliness would be revealed. But on the regular day-to-day basis, says the Alter Rebbe, that we have to be frank, we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that what pushes us, what drives us, what is the me that I identify with, what do I care about, is material things, not godly things, except for a tzaddik. A tzaddik is pure godliness. All he wants and all he desires is godliness. The material things, but a tzaddik is just like a guest. He happens to, in order to be here, he has a body, so he needs the body to survive, so he has to do a favor and feed the body. But the tzaddik itself, what does the tzaddik identify with? What drives the tzaddik is only pure godliness, which is the case only for very, very few people, only tzaddikim. The rest of us, the Beinani, even a person that does everything right and he only does the right thing, but what is his natural tendencies? What does he want? What are his desires? It is what he's basically taken hostage by the evil inclination. And although it doesn't have, you do have a godly soul that fights it, and you win most cases, and some people by all the cases, but still, the body is still taken hostage by the other side, and that is the you, that is the me. Identify with what I care for. Naturally, I care for material things, for health, for all the material things. So this is the Alter Rebbe. This is the reason why sometimes you may feel numb. And the answer to this, how to fix this, is by having times from time to time to break down, to take away the arrogance of the self, and realize and put yourself in your place. Realize how this natural tendencies and is so not godly and so low that you feel bad about it, and that when you break down, you realize that you're not really the boss here. You just make yourself arrogant. So that is a process that the Alter Rebbe is going to discuss in these chapters, how and when, how to deal with this concept, how to break it down in order to allow godly neshama to feel once again. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe, Ve'asiba, the cause of this deficiency, Higasus aklipa shemagbiya atzmo al ktushas nefesh alekis umasteres umachshicha oira. The cause of this deficiency is the arrogance of the klipa, of the animal soul, which exalts itself above the holiness of the light of the divine soul, so that it obscures and darkens its light. Well, and therefore, what is the remedy? Therefore, one must crush it and cast it down to the ground. Just as in the previously quoted analogy, the beam is splintered so that it will catch fire. The Alter Rebbe goes now to proceed to explain how this is accomplished. He points out that the personality of the Beinoni is his animal soul. What is my personality? What is the personality of the Beinoni? When a Beinoni says I, he is referring to his animal soul. Thus, by crushing his own spirit, he crushes the Sitra Achra, crushes the other side, and thereby enables the light of the soul and intellect to penetrate himself. So the Alter Rebbe dainu lekvoy ha'itim lashpil atzmai li yisniv zebeinav nimas kakasu. This means that one must crush the Sitra Achra and cast it to the ground by setting aside appointed times for humbling oneself and considering self despicable and contemptible. Meaning, you're talking about yourself what? You're talking about what do I identify with? Who is I? This despicable thing that lusts for material and not kosher things. Or even a kosher, but it's not godly. As it is written, now a broken heart leads to a broken spirit. The spirit being of the Sitra Achra, which in the case of the Beinonim is the very man himself. Or the person who identifies with the I is the Sitra Achra, the material part. Shenefesh achiyunis amechaya haguf, ibetokfo keteiladeto beliboy, nimtza hi odam atzmei. For in his heart, the vital soul, which animates the body, is in its full strength, as it was at birth. And therefore, it is indeed the very man himself, the animal soul, the vital soul. And the Alter Rebbe further goes and says that we see it also in the prayer that we say every single morning. In the morning we say, Elokai neshama shenasata bi tahora hi. My God, the neshama that you placed in me is pure. So who is the me and who is the neshama? So obviously he's saying is you placed in me, that means there is the me, there is the I. Who is the I? The I is the one with the materials, with the animal soul that I have. But in me, you placed a godly soul. And of course, with the godly soul, we're able to overcome this I that we identify with. But that I really is arrogant. It's not real. It's fake. It holds us hostage. הנפש הליקיס שבו הנה הנשמה שנשאת בי תוירה היא. שנשאת בי דייקה. מכלל שאודם עצמו איננו הנשמה תוירה. With regard to the divine soul within him, it is said the soul which you gave within me is pure. The word within me cannot be understood as referring to the body alone. The body cannot speak for itself as a complete man. What is a body? A body is just flesh and bones and blood. When we're talking about me, thus it must refer also to the animating soul. So therefore, the word which you gave within me imply that the man himself who is saying the words is not identifying with the pure soul. Meaning the divine soul is a thing apart which has been placed within this me, the body and the animal soul. But this is by the average person, except for tzaddikim. By tzaddikim, it's a different story. Except for in the case of tzaddikim, by tzaddikim the case is the other way around. Shebehem hu lehifech. With them, with tzaddikim, the contrary is true. Sheneshama atahira hi she nefesh elekis hu Adam. The man himself is the pure soul, meaning the divine soul. The gufam nikra b'sar Adam, by their body is called the flesh of man, meaning secondary to the man himself, the divine soul. The tzaddikim is talking about they live in a whole different world. You can see by the Rebbe. Physically, the Rebbe's life was, we could see openly in so many cases that it was a spiritual life. The actual life came from spirituality. Went on every year when it came Sukkot, the Rebbe would go without sleeping the whole week. But for hours and hours every Sunday, the Rebbe would give out dollars at age of in his 90s, without all day long standing, and you could see that the life of the Rebbe was of a tzaddik. It's a spiritual life. So a tzaddik has a different type of life. What the tzaddik identifies with is a spiritual life. So the truth of the matter is, as we said in the beginning, that deep inside what is the true self is the neshama that we have, the godliness, and it becomes revealed in extreme circumstances. When the connection with Hashem is in obvious danger, then we wake up. But on the regular basis, we identify with the animal soul, and that is why, says the Alter Rebbe, from time to time, we need to focus on this fact and realize how low we are. And when we feel bad about it, that will break down and allow an opening to the neshama, for us to catch the fire of the godly soul. It's the end of today's shir. We'll continue with Hashem tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.